see. All right. Checking out the stream. All right, cool. Hey, I'm Matt Landers. I'm on the Covalence stream today, although I'm with WP Engine. I also am with Covalence in a sense. If you are from Covalence, you've probably seen me before on the screen a lot. If not, I actually am the developer relations manager at WP Engine, and I work on Headless WordPress. So today we are going to code a Headless WordPress site and put some forms on it. So this is actually something I haven't done before, so it should be fun. So I'm watching the chat. If anybody wants to ask questions or whatnot, go for it. I'll answer them. Hopefully everything is streaming all right. If there's any issues you can't hear or something like that, definitely let me know. All right, so share my desktop here. There we go. All right, we're going to start from scratch. I haven't planned anything. I just know what I want to try to do. I get this question a lot, and I just want to try it out. So I get questions like, how do I do forms in a headless site? And I've always said, like, use Gravity Forms API or something like that. But I just noticed I have this like watermark over me. I wonder if I can remove that. I'm just trying to remove this watermark. Let's see. I don't see where it is. All right. Anyways, we'll just leave it. I'll move myself just a little bit. Let's see. More of that maybe. All right, cool. Anyways. All right, we're going to just get started. We're going to start from scratch. So I've never done this, but people always ask, I say, use Gravity Forms or use something else. I also had this idea where I wanted to use custom post types and allow like anonymous submissions, but not necessarily anonymous reads from it. So we're going to try that too. So let's just start from scratch. Create a new site. I'm using local. So this is localwp.com. It was Flywheel, and now it's WP Engine and Flywheel. And we'll just do, call it forms. Spin it up. Give it a user. This is cool. It just lets you spin up a WordPress site really quickly. And I have this open over here, so I can go into my site once it's done. And I'll be able to like edit any plugins or anything that we want to do in there as well. And the other thing we want to do is we want to start a front end. We're going to use the headless framework here. So I'm going to just go through this little getting started. Create a new site. Call it forms. Sure, same name. That'll create like a net site with our headless framework and everything in it ready to go. And then we'll hook it up to our WordPress site once this is done. This is taking longer than it usually does. Oh, there it goes. Cool. I should be able to just log in. We got a WordPress site locally. It's on forms.local. That was easy. Now we have a front end as well. I'm going to set this up. Open it in VS Code. Make it bigger for you. All right, let's see. .env.local. We need to put in some stuff here to make this work, like our Forms.local, that's easy enough. And then our plugin secret, we haven't installed the plugin yet, so we gotta go do that. So I need to download that. Should be out here somewhere. Releases, something. Download this. All right. Then we go back to our WordPress site. Install it. That one. Install this. This will get us started down the path of getting oh, plugin installation failed. That's not good. Maybe I didn't download the right thing. Let's see. What's in here? Oh yeah, this has everything. So I need just this. I'm just gonna copy it to the folder. And if we go to plugins, there it is. We'll activate it. All right, cool. And I'm also going to install wpgraphql, which I can do straight from this plugin. That's happening, hopefully. All right, cool. So I should have that. Then I want to put in my URL. And I'm going to grab this secret. That's what I needed over here. All of this, if you don't know what I'm doing, there's videos out there that we've done on the Decode channel, but this is just getting set up. I just want to do it from scratch, so there's like no magic. It's just all happening. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna save this file and start it up. Let's see if we're good or not. Cool. I have my headless site. Hello world. Everything's good. We're working. That was easy. Now for the front end URL, when I have a custom domain live, do I put that in there? Yes. So whatever URL you want, I can show you how this works. So basically you put a URL in here, and the plugin knows now that anytime that you want to go to a front end URL, that this is where it should send you instead of sending you to the WordPress front end. So now if I go to like post, I want to view a post, it's going to take me out to forms.local instead. I don't know why that didn't come up, but did I type it in wrong? Oh, it's one. Oh, I actually need to point it to localhost, not to myself. Yeah, so live coding. This is what happens. I pointed it to WordPress, which was totally not the right thing to do. All right, now let's try that again. So now it knows where to go. It says send me to localhost, and when I click it, it takes me to the post instead of taking me to the actual WordPress. So now I have a headless setup going on. I have a WordPress site with all my content, and then I have a Next.js site using our headless framework for our front end. It already looks pretty good. I'm gonna wipe some of this out because I'm not gonna use the framework that much for this. But basically when I'm in my pages, I can see what's going on in here. But we'll probably just create a contact page. Let's just do that. I don't actually have to wipe anything out. We'll create a contact.tsx, and then create a little React component. Make sure everything's good to go. right, save that. Now if we come over here, we should have a contact page. All right, cool. So what I want to do, which I've actually never done in a headless setup, is create a form for somebody to submit and then have that end up in WordPress somehow. But I need to be able to create a custom post type for this form the way that I've been wanting to do it. So I'm going to install a few more plugins actually. I'm going to install custom post type UI. And then I need advanced custom fields. Turn those on. Wait, I did extended. That's not what I wanted. That wasn't right. I just want ACF. There we go. All right, cool. Now I need to install the extensions for wpgraphql. And I have those out here. We have a blog post, just how to set up a WordPress for Headless CMS. And that has everything that I need to put in here. I need WP GraphQL for advanced custom fields. One is set up right. Cool. And also need the custom post type one. A lot of plugins that I need to do the stuff I want. Let's see. Boom. Download that one. All right, I think we got it all. All right, so let's create a new custom post type. And we'll call it our contact form. All right, so let's call it contacts. I don't know if that's like reserved in WordPress. Guess we'll find out. All right, I'm gonna scroll down and make sure this shows up in wpgraphql. It will. I'm gonna make it a contact in contacts. I'm gonna add some custom fields to it. All right, I only want this to show up on the contacts post type. And I want a name. That's just text, show in GraphQL. Definitely want that. I want email. I don't know if there's an email type. There is an email type. Cool. Add another one. Let's see. I don't know. We don't have to get much here. Maybe a phone number. I don't know if number is going to be the right thing. I think it just needs to be a text. I can go with that. All right, and then we need to name this for GraphQL. So I want this to show up in GraphQL. We call it ACF contact fields. I'm just gonna call it contact fields. I always add that ACF, but I don't really need to. Yeah, contact fields. All right, cool. Publish that. Field group title. Oh, yeah. Cool. So now what this did is it created this contacts area over here where now I can enter new contacts. If I come here, I can actually say like me, and I put name in here, but it's actually the title too, but whatever. And if we save this, now we have a list of contacts, but I don't have any way to put this on my site right now. I actually want to have a mutation or something in GraphQL so that I can do this from the front end. But let's go ahead and build our form out over here. So we have a layout control, I think. Maybe not. Here we go. I'm gonna copy this so I get some type of formatting. Pull in some of these things. I don't need this one. And I need to grab the settings, which I can do. This is from our framework. Cool, we're bringing like the site title and description, which is nice. All right, let's see. Now we don't want to create a form, so let's do it. I don't know where this is going to go yet. Let's see. So we want a label for name. Email. Actually, this should be. Then we can do a phone number. All right, so this looks like. There it is. Oh, it's beautiful. Very well laid out. No, let's fix that. All right, we got some stuff. A button. All right, it's not pretty. We'll worry about that later. All right, now I need a way to do something with this. So I need to hook up a click event here. So I'll go ahead and do that. Let's call it submit form. And this is where we'll actually save the form. Cool. Then we want some type of message in here too, probably. Like, let's see. And this is where we'll have some state. So message, set message. And we'll have nothing at first. All right, and then here we might say set message. All right. I didn't put it in here. All right. Thank you for contacting us. And it goes away. Why is it going away? Interesting. Must be re-rendering the page or something here. It's actually kind of odd. I wouldn't have expected that. All right, we'll worry about that later. It's actually, the button is clicking. We're good for now. All right, now we want to be able to save this form. So let's see. I think I'm gonna need some help from this. So let me phone a friend. I need some help. So I don't know PHP, and I think I'm gonna need to do some PHP here. So let's bring somebody in. Who do we have? It's Jason. Hey, what's up?
Yo,
I need help.
let's do it.
All right. I created a form and I want to save it to my custom post type. So hopefully you can help me make that happen.
If you're sharing your screen, all I see is gray.
Yeah, I'll share it.
Okay, cool.
All right, can you see it?
Yeah, sweet.
Cool. All right, so I created this form. Let's see. It's really pretty right now. It's actually doing this weird thing where I submit and then it goes away. I'm not sure exactly what's happening there, but we'll worry about that later. I created a custom post type back here with some custom fields.
All right.
And I was like, I want to be able to have a mutation or something that I can use to save the data. So I want them to be able to write to the form, but not read from it, right?
All right, cool. So this is using custom post type UI and advanced custom fields.
That's right.
Sweet. Cool. So yeah, let's take a look at some PHP.
Do a plugin.
Yeah.
All right, let me make sure I got it right. All right, yeah, I'm in the forms. Plugins, let's see, let's create a new one. New folder, we'll call it contact form. All right, so I just name it the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet. And then you need a PHP opening tag. Obviously, yeah. Question mark PHP. Yeah. And then yeah. And then doc block to name your plugin. So 2 stars. I think it's got to have 2 stars at least. Yeah.
Right.
Or wherever those. Yep. And then plugin name. 2 words. Yep. With colon, and then give it a name. That's all you need.
Okay.
Everything else is optional.
All right. Well, let's not worry about it for now then. So wpgraphql is pretty easy to extend, right?
Yeah. So I was thinking
options.
First thing we could do, what do you think? Register a mutation.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we do add filter.
Yeah. Add action.
Add action.
So add action, and then the action name is GraphQL underscore register underscore types.
All right.
And then comma after that, and then we got to do a callback function. So you just do anonymous function. So just the word function. Yep.
Something
just like that. And Yep. Semicolon. Nice. So then, WP GraphQL has register GraphQL mutation API. So just register underscore GraphQL underscore mutation.
All right.
And then, And then this is going to take an array.
All right.
I believe. Hold on. Let me double check. I can't remember if we give the name of the mutation first or if it's all an array. Hold on. Might be. Sorry.
All good. There's docs for this.
Yeah. So right? Sorry, it's the mutation name first. So as a string.
Let me show where these dots are real quick. So if I go out here, what would I find? What would I search for?
Yeah, you just search there, register mutation or whatever. You should find it there.
There we go.
There you go.
Good search there. What are you using?
Algolia.
Yeah, so we got mutation name and then an array. So we'll call this.
So when it comes to like naming things,
right,
since it is like an extendable schema, I think being explicit is a good thing. If you were just to say like submit form, there's a chance you would conflict with someone else's naming. So you
like
might you could prefix it, or you could just name it like very, very specifically, or yeah. So I would probably maybe even there's different theories on naming practices in GraphQL. I would probably name it like the verb first and then a prefix somewhere else, like submit CF, or submit Matt Lander's contact form or whatever, submit custom contact form, like whatever you want. It's a little bit more declarative, like if you're looking for submit in the docs or whatever. Anyway,
yeah, I'll just do it something like this.
Naming things is hard.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is not going to be a push to production or anything, but
yeah. So before we forget, add the semicolon to this one too. Yep. All right. So now it's going to take a couple things. So you can look back at the docs and we can see what all it accepts. So you have a description. So that's always recommended. The description will show up in it documents the code itself, which is nice, but it also shows up in GraphQL. So it's just a string. So single quotes, or whatever. Yep, that's fine. Single double doesn't matter.
Is it
then the fat arrow?
The whole. I can never remember what it is.
Yeah, and then you give it another string, which is documentation. So if you were going to go to production, you would wrap this with the translation function as well. But for our sake, we can just do a string.
All right.
And then so that'll show up in the like graphical documentation for the schema. So always want to include a description. And the more descriptive, the better. So then next you have, what is it? Input fields. Right. And it's camel case, like a. Oh, okay, yeah. Silly. Got it. Silly decision, but whatever.
Another array.
Yep. And then so you have input fields, output fields. So input fields is going to be an array of the fields. So this would be like you have name, email, and whatever else. Right. So instead of type, it'll be like name or whatever the name of your field is. Mm-hmm. And then that's an array, and that's where we configure this field. So now you do type. Right. So in this case, we'd say string. Mm-hmm. And then again, you add a description to this one, and it's where you describe like if there were any constraints, like max 200 characters, or like anything like that, even. Right. So that'll add that to the mutation, and then we'll do another one. What was your form fields? You had name, email, and what else?
Just name, email, phone.
Okay, cool. So we'll do those. And right now, we don't have like custom scalars for something like your email or phone number in the schema. So we'll just do strings for these. Right. But yeah.
Same with phone number.
Yeah. Yep. but what's maybe in the future we could circle back and explore what custom scalars would look like for this, and get like validation for free from GraphQL for like email validation and phone number validation, for example.
Right. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sweet. So now you actually now we need some output fields. So let's do output fields next. And so, okay, so just to explain what's happening, we're registering a mutation to the schema. So we'll be able to submit contact form mutation, and we have to accept some fields. So the input fields is the fields that we can accept. The output fields are what the client can ask for in response to the mutation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably a couple things we could return here.
Maybe like
probably
error.
these same fields would be helpful, like just to render to the consumer, like, hey, thanks for your submission. This is the information we received, right?
Right. And
so yeah, name, email, phone. Yeah, you can copy it.
It's the same format and everything.
Yep. So you might want to expose those, and then maybe two other fields I think might be helpful. Maybe like success message or something like that. And this could either be a string if successful, or empty if not. And then we can also return a list of errors as the other one, maybe.
Right.
There's a bunch of different ways we can design this shape, but this would be like your description. This isn't the actual message. This is the description of the field. Yeah. So the field is message returned in response to successful submission or something like that. The actual data we will return would be something like that. Thank you for contacting me.
Okay.
And then the next one, maybe we could do errors, or submission errors, or like however we want to name it. This is probably fine. And then so type for this one, maybe let's do a list of string. So for this, you do an array, so square brackets, and then you say list underscore of, and then fat arrow string. So you say this one is a list of strings, and then same thing in description. We'll just say, list of errors if the form failed to submit or something like that. Yeah.
All right.
Sweet. So now we're actually good to go. If you save this, it's not going to do anything yet.
Right.
But
if I go to WordPress,
it'll show up in GraphQL. Yeah. So if you go to your WordPress, open up GraphQL again. When the schema loads, we should be able to go open the docs or an Explorer on the left.
I think I might gotta turn this plugin on, I think. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, there you go. Activate the plugin. Yep.
That'd be required. All right, let's see what happens.
So yeah, you could search on the left, or you could open the docs on the right, either one. So you're looking under queries. It's not going to be under queries. It's going to be under mutations. So yep, you click that add new mutation at the bottom. Somewhere. I
clicked it, but there it goes.
There you go. Okay, there you go. So you should see a submit contact form. Yeah, the UI needs some work, I guess. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I should have
it'll be submit contact form. Yep, there you go. Oh, you were just on. Yeah. Sweet. So you can see submit contact form, and it has our inputs. So any mutation you register in this way gets a field called client mutation ID, and that it's totally optional, but it can be useful for some GraphQL clients to like address race conditions and things like that.
Right.
We don't need to worry about it. Just making sure you know it's there. So now the fields we register were name, email, phone number. So we can fill this out and pass in values.
Right.
And then, and then name, email. And then what's the next one? Phone number. Sweet.
Cool.
And then, so in a response, there's output field. So this is what we ask for in response. So yeah, exactly. We can query the errors. We can query any of these things. You don't need to do commas.
Oh yeah.
I think it won't affect anything, but you don't need them. So what do we got? What did you? Let's see. Oh, because we're not actually doing anything.
Yeah, we're not doing anything, so it's like.
So yeah, we can see it in the schema, but yeah,
Right.
nothing's happening. So now the next thing we need is a mutate and get payload. So we have the input fields, output fields.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. I think I see possibly an error. Your output fields, or is that just indentation? Your output fields should not be at the same level as phone on line 24. Is that just bad indentation?
Probably. I don't know what I have for. There's no formatter for PHP installed. Is it not come with prettier? Really?
Yeah, PHP prettier is not really. I think, but if you look, you see the line 22, 23, you have two brackets on the same level. I just want to make sure output fields is.
Yeah.
I think it's just an indentation thing. So I think we're fine. But output fields should be. Yeah. All right, cool. Anyway, I thought it was an actual issue. So let's at the same level as output fields and input fields, let's add another thing. So this one is mutate and get payload.
That's like really not liking the formatting.
It's all good.
Mute.
It's like when I write JavaScript in PHP Storm, it's the same way. So it's mutate, camel case, mutate, and get payload. And then this one is going to be fat arrow, and then it'll be a function. So a function, and then sweet. And then you don't need this semicolon now. So this one you're going to get the input, like $sign input.
So I'll get the.
This is going to be
that we passed in, right?
Yeah, this is going to be the input from the user. So just to test this, let's do on line 47. This is just like a debugging thing I like to do. Just do wp_send_JSON. And then that's a function. Yeah. So, and then put the input in there, $sign input, and a semicolon after. So what this is going to do is just going to capture the input from the mutation, and then it's going to send it as JSON back to the request. So we'll see a JSON response in GraphQL if you execute this. We should at least. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so cool. We can now test that the input that we're providing. So like just change a value real quick and do it again just so we can see it live, There you go. Mat2, boom. There we go. So we can see the information coming through. Right. So this function, the mutate and get payload, this is where we would do things like validate that the email is an actual email address. We could validate maybe that a phone number is filled in. We could validate things like that. If any of them, like maybe you provided an invalid email address, we could return an error. Right. And things like that. Also, one thing we could do if you have required fields, like let's say you required the name and email address, but maybe the phone number is optional. Yeah, let's do that. We can declare these as non-null. So like, let's say name and email are required, but we'll leave phone number optional. So the same way that we did list of, how it's an array, the type is an array where you say list of string. We can say type is equal to array, non-null, fat arrow, string. So is it non-underscore null? It's non-underscore null. And then I know that what a weird mess of camel case and whatever snake case. Anyway, so that will give GraphQL will now validate for us for free that these are required. So if you try and submit without name, you're gonna get an error. It's gonna say, "Hey, pal, like you tried to submit without a required field, right?
Nice.
So you get a little bit of free validation here from GraphQL, which is nice.
Cool.
And then if you submit it, cool, passes that required validation, which is nice.
I guess I'll just test this while we're at it.
Yep.
Cool.
That's cool. So there's different types of errors that are happening here too, right? There's errors like saying, hey, this field is required and we're not going to execute, so you get that kind of error. There's the errors that we're querying in response. Those would be like validation, like errors that, okay, we need to accept the input, we need to do something with it.
Right.
And then we can validate against it and provide errors that you would want to render like in your UI.
Right.
And so there's like different ways we can do errors.
How can we catch that?
That's now some options.
Yeah, so GraphQL is catching this for me and sending an error back. Can I customize that error that goes back, or is that just how that
works? For a non-null, like that's a schema level error. So you could, you're not going to be able to customize it here, like where you register the mutation.
I gotcha.
I believe there is like filters if you wanted to control it, but
gotcha. Okay, just curious.
We won't cover that.
We don't have to go super deep here.
Yeah. So now we have a contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're saying, if you provide this information, we're going to do something, and in response, you can ask for this information. So since we're promising to respond with name, email, phone number, success message, and errors, our mutate and get payload needs to return data in that shape.
Right.
So we can mock that out. So in the function, like we can get rid of this WP send JSON or comment it out or whatever. Let's do a return statement real quick, just to, and then an array. We'll do just like an array, and then it's gonna match. It's gonna match the same shape we're promising. So yeah, it's
so
name.
Do like a $input.
Yep.
Name.
It'll be input square brackets. Yeah, it's a little different in PHP. Yep, exactly like that. So name,
I'm just using all different types of quotes here as well. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's fine. Usually you use single quotes for most of this stuff, but it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can change it.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's like usually you'd only do double quotes if you're like doing some sort of evaluation inside the string, but
yeah, here, I'll just change it though, just in case anybody's like really worried about it. Okay.
You'd use template literals. No, I'm just kidding. So then, name, so name, email.
And phone. Then we need success message. We can say thanks for contacting us. And then for errors, just do like an empty one.
Yeah, you'll do an array. So this is where we'd end up having some logic, right? Like we'd probably have, and we'll come to this. Let's just put some errors just to test it. Just say like mock error or something.
Yeah, what did we say? So it's just a string.
It's a list of strings. So you could do, just be like test error 1, test error 2, or whatever, just to make sure like it's working. Right. It should be. And now if we submit, we should get all that data back. We should get the and then you can add. Screw something up. Why don't you, before we check it out again though, add to your query. So we're querying in response.
Some kind of.
You're missing
something.
Semicolon after line 53. You need
here.
That might have been it.
That is it. And
there you
now we're good. So we get our.
So now to your mutation, we're asking for errors and success message. Just double check. Add to the fields that we're asking for. Add like name, email, phone number, so we can test. But that's what's cool about GraphQL, right? Like you the consumer get to specify what's important to you. If your client application only cares about the success message and the error message, then only ask for that. If you care about all this other stuff, like, hey, we received your email and here's what you gave us, like, cool, then you can ask for that too. Like whatever's important to your application is at your fingertips now. So
Cool.
yeah, so now it's working. We're getting data from GraphQL to the server, and we're able to respond. So now what we need to do is be able to like submit it to the custom post type, right?
Right.
And maybe we'll even toss in like a hint of validation just to show what that would look like.
Right. Okay.
So let's do like hit enter, and let's maybe add like some fake validation on the email or whatever, just to make sure it has like the @ string or what, right. The @ logo, that whatever, the @ symbol.
Yeah.
what is that called? Is it what
it's
is
just the I think it's just the @
all right
character.
the @
char @
I don't know. So I think like we could do like if, and then parentheses, and I think the function, you might need to Google this, but I think it's stir. Oh gosh, what is it? It's stirpos. Oh, is it substring or stirpos? I can't remember.
What are you looking for?
Basically, just to see if the string contains the character. I cannot remember which one it is. String contains, okay. Stirpos, strpos.
String position. Got it.
Yeah. And then parentheses, and then we'll say input email.
And $input. Wait, this is like this. All right, if it's greater than 0 or something.
And then we want the second thing, so it'll be comma after the email. So we're saying if input email has this character, so we'll in single quotes do the @ sign. Yeah. And then if it finds it, let's see, it returns a false if it's not there. Otherwise, it returns the character. So if false, it does not equal false. Or if it does equal false, then that's where we can return.
Now we just want to return.
Then we would return like the error message and not do any processing. So that's where we would just return errors, and then everything else would be null. Yeah. So this would be like, this is an invalid email address or whatever, invalid email. Yeah. So let's test that. Let's make sure. I think you got to do triple arrows. I think.
Triple arrows.
Or sorry, triple equals. Triple equal.
Like that.
Sorry, you're like triple arrow. What? Is that PHP 8? What is this?
All right.
So now if you submit it, we should get the regular payload. But if you submit, so that works. Now, yeah, exactly. Take that away.
Boom.
Cool. Invalid email address and nothing else.
I mean, that's exactly perfect validation right there. We're good.
That is perfect validation. I think there's an actual PHP function for validating email addresses, actually, but yeah, I think there actually is, but whatever. We're all good though.
I think I can.
Oh yeah, it's called filter var. But anyway, this will work for our example.
Let's do this for the example. We can go back in here and make
so cool. Now we got some validation. So let's say this is all we care about. Let's go ahead and say, cool. We'll go ahead and create the post in the backend. So there's a function called WP insert post.
WP
underscore insert underscore post. And then so it accepts an array of data. And so give the semicolon before we forget to.
Yeah.
And then, so a couple things we need. So this is just going to be another key value array. So we'll have post type is an important one. So the post type that you registered with custom post type UI, whatever the name that you gave it was.
Contacts, I think.
And it has to match case sensitive, like all that good stuff.
Contacts.
So it looks like lowercase c.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's this one, the slug, not the.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we're gonna say we're gonna input a post, and then the title, it needs post title, and so we can just do like,
I want it to be just the name.
It'll be post underscore title.
Oh.
So that's just like the one that's like the out of the box. This is where I would probably do like form submission from name or something like that.
So like,
and then the meta, the advanced custom fields will just store the raw values, right? And then maybe a space after the colon.
Oh yeah.
It's like whatever. So that'll be the title. And then, so that'll submit the thing without any of the custom fields.
Right, without the fields.
So what we'll want to do next is save the data. So WP insert post, when that succeeds, it returns the ID of the post. So we'll capture that in a variable. So you can say like $, post ID or ID. Yeah, that works. And then, so ACF, we might need to Google this too. I think it's update field is, I think, the ACF function. It's a little different than
should we look it up?
Regular.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think it's update field, but just say ACF update field. I'm pretty sure it's called update field. Yeah, there we go. And then I think it's reverse from WordPress. I think you do the key, the value, and then the post ID. Where normal like WordPress
field key. Oh yeah, that's weird. Then you do the post.
Yeah, ID. WordPress update post meta is post ID and then key and then value. So it's like backwards, but anyway, so you need the key, you need the names of the fields from advanced custom fields to do this. So I imagine you name them simply.
Yeah, they were just name,
email, phone, or phone number maybe.
I don't know those.
So if you know those, yeah. So let's go back to the code, double check. Yeah, let's just make sure. So yeah, the name right there in the middle column, it's name, email, phone underscore number. So those are
this.
Yeah, that works.
Make it consistent. All right, cool. So now I just do update field.
And then it'll
be the selector is name.
And then the value is
the
input name.
Input name. And then the post ID.
And then the post ID. Yep. Just the $. You don't need an array.
Oh.
You don't need an array. Yeah.
Okay, don't. And then
cool. So copy that line, do the same for email, phone. And then
how does it know what field group, or is that like that's just a wpgraphql thing?
The update field, so you can only have one. No, ACF allows you to group fields, mostly for like display purposes.
Okay.
But
you can't have duplicates.
Yeah. If you added a name field to two different field groups in ACF and assigned them to the same post type, you'd have problems.
Okay.
Because the second one to be saved would override the first one.
Gotcha.
That's just a normal WordPress thing. If you have two meta fields with the same name,
yeah, that makes sense. Because that's
where
meta fields.
WordPress ends up prefixing a lot of stuff for that reason. So yeah, this should work right now. So we should be able to go submit our mutation again. We should the result should be new post submitted. We should get our success. Thanks for contacting us. Sweet. We could probably get rid of our test errors now.
Oh yeah.
Also,
good idea.
You could just say null or whatever, or even just take it out of that response.
Gotcha.
And then GraphQL will return a null for us.
Cool. And now if I come over here,
So now you should have two. Yep, because we just submitted them. So now you could have them come through as a draft, or you could have them come through as publish or any other status. Like draft would be the default.
Would that keep them from being publicly queryable?
Kind of. So when you register the post type with like as a post type UI, for example, you have control over certain things with the post type there too. Like, is it a public post type or not?
Right.
And then you can even get more finer control. Like maybe you don't want it to be a public post type, but you still want data to be like public post type means like every entity in the post type has a URL. If you set that to false, it won't be public in that way.
Right.
But it could still be queryable publicly in GraphQL. And then so you can do like capability type. Like if you scroll down even further, capability type allows you to set like if there's custom capabilities for it. So by default, this is going to follow the rules set up for posts.
Okay.
So if it is a draft state, you do have to be authenticated to see it.
Okay.
So we can leave that as is. You could get more fine-grained with that, like, but for now we'll leave it as is. So if it is a draft, only people logged in can see it, even in GraphQL.
Okay, that's perfect. That's what I want. I want like somebody to submit a form, but they can't go query it if they find a GraphQL endpoint or something.
Yeah, but if you are authenticated, like we are in the WordPress admin, we can see it in GraphQL, but a public user could not.
Right.
So that's I think this is a good initial setup. We could obviously tailor it a little more if we were like actually going to production.
Right. So now if I submit this, it's saved. We're good. It's in draft. Click it. There's all of our data. Sweet.
Yeah.
We have forms.
So now what's cool, like if you were building, let's say like, I don't know, maybe you wanted a digest emailed to you every day of all the contacts, like once a day.
Right.
So that's a GraphQL. Since we already added this stuff to the schema, we can, well, we'd have to do a couple other things. But if you go to GraphQL, you can query these submissions like as a query. We'd have to add the fields to the contact type, but you can since it's a post type, you can query contacts, nodes. It doesn't have the name, email, phone number yet because we didn't. Oh, it does. Wait, what? Yeah. Oh, did you register those already?
Yeah.
Oh, because of ACF, right?
Yeah.
Or wait, hold on.
Yeah, I already set it up, but why?
Oh, you set that up. Okay.
Why did they not come back though?
Because they're draft, so you'd have to specify.
Wait, no, but I'm logged in though. Oh, I gotta specify draft. Yeah.
But yeah, you still have to declare your intent. So the default is still published. So you say where, and then status draft. Status, and then draft. Yep.
There we go. Boom.
Cool.
Perfect.
So now, like you can do the submission through mutation,
right?
And then you can query back like separately as a separate part of your application. You could maybe have a email or a daily digest or whatever.
Right. You go pull them all out and
or you could even build a UI like on your phone where you could check in every day and just like hit a query like this and hey, who submitted a contact form today? You know, like sky's the limit, man. Like it's all in the API for you.
So now I can call this from my front end, right? So so we could just go over to
you could build the the mutation. And so are you using Apollo in here?
Yeah, I have Apollo.
Sweet. So I think there's the use mutation. On this one, we're gonna have to look up docs on this. I haven't done this in a minute.
Let's see. We got TypeScript. It'll tell us. Let's see. Mutation. I mean, I should just be able to pass it in, right?
Yeah, I just don't remember exactly how it works because you got to submit the variables and all that. I can't remember all the syntax of it.
Let's see.
I'd probably just go to the docs real quick, but up to you. It's like const something equals use mutation, I think, because you get data in response to it.
Right. All right. Let's just say.
I think it's like const, and then the response I think gives you data errors, loading, something like that. Yeah, const. Yeah.
That's
So
the
like
use
on one, yeah,
mutation,
down
and
there.
then
Yeah, so it'd be const. The first one would be the name of our
oh, that's
mutation.
cool. I like how this works. I actually haven't done this. All right.
Oh, you'll need GQL too.
Yeah. So I'll pull this in. We'll do.
So then you can copy.
Submit.
You could copy that. Yeah, that's fine. And then the type is going to be. Go look at GraphQL again, but it's going to be like submit contact form CF input or something like that. Because it's not going to be string.
Yeah.
So if you look at the docs over on the right side, and then just search submit or whatever. And then if you go into mutation, yep, click or that top, yeah, and then the input, that's the name of the type. If you go back, you can just copy it.
What is it? This right here?
Yep, that's the name of the input type.
Gotcha,
so you copy that, and instead of string, it's that. And then instead of add to do, it's submit. Whatever.
Oh wait, because this is
that's fine. That's the name of the operation, and this
Right.
is the actual operation.
Yeah. Okay.
And then instead of type, it would be input and then $input. I'd call it input. And then on the line above, change the variable type to be called input also on line 7. Yeah. Cool. And then in response, we have to write what our response is. So it's like name, email, whatever, name, email, phone, success. Yeah, errors.
Oh, and errors. Yeah.
Probably, and that might be it. Maybe in our case, we don't need the other information up to you.
Right. Yeah, I think that works.
So it's const.
Yeah, and then
whatever.
It was like add contact.
It's the name. So you don't get to name it yourself. It's the name of the mutation. So it's going to be const submit contact form.
Oh, whatever I'd name the mutation there.
Yeah,
but I can name that whatever, right?
No, it's the actual. It's not that name. It's the actual mutation name. So on line, it's the line 8 name.
This one, but they're the same in this case. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't. This one is not a variable thing unless you're aliasing. No, that's the first thing. That's the first one. Yep. And then nope.
No,
not
it's just
add.
Gonna be that. Yeah, just that by itself.
It's just that. And then you have a comma in there too, and then you get like data and stuff back. I can't remember what it is though.
Yeah, it's
so it's you get a response.
Right.
And so you get data, errors, loading, I think.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So yeah, it's like I think it's data, errors, and loading, I think.
Yeah, it's error, loading. I don't need loading though.
I mean, you might.
I might,
right?
Yeah,
like
depending on how long it takes, I could block it out.
I mean, in this case, it's going to be really fast, but
right.
Like if you had a multi-step form that required, a bunch of stuff, maybe it does take 3 or 4 seconds to submit. Who knows?
Right. All right. So then in here, I would want to do submit. Now, it doesn't know what this is though.
So now you pass options, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So what this is going to do, it's going to call that mutation, and then we have to pass variables to it.
Right.
So I think you give it a key of variables inside this object. Yep. And then the variables, we have one called input. So you give it
So this
input.
Is operation variables. Yeah.
So then it's input, and then colon, that's another object. And this is going to be name. Yep.
Right.
And you're going to get this from whatever are you setting state?
Yeah, I haven't
already. I don't know.
I haven't set the state yet, so I need to do that.
Yeah. So as you change the form, like each input, you set the state on the form, and then you can get the state to submit the mutation.
Yeah, I could do this. I usually do like separate ones.
Yeah, that's totally cool. And then obviously, if you wanted to, you could use like a form library like Formic or whatever also.
Probably be better.
But that's like whatever. Like,
cool. And then down here. This passes in. Is that right? That's input elements. It's name or something like that.
So. All right, so what's happening now, we wired up the inputs. So as we type in these inputs, it updates the state of the form. So as you type the name, it sets the state of the name on the form. And then we're gonna pull those values out of state and submit them in the mutation.
Right, and this says it returns a promise, right? So I need this to be async. And I wanna what comes back.
So then you that's hold on, go back to the docs real quick. The Apollo docs.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're not worried
when you
about
submit
the return type.
So you get the response in the data.
Oh, is that what's it's gonna come back there?
Hold on. So you submit.
Are they doing anything with it? It doesn't look like it.
No, they're not in this example.
Yeah, maybe this one's
okay. This one's a little more.
This one looks a little more.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So if you look up like line 14, 15, that's where you have the state. Like when you click the button, it's going to change the state to loading because it's now submitting, or submitting or whatever.
This one's doing a query to get them, and then it's doing an update. So this is the loading, like when you first get to the page. But I guess we can do the same thing as whenever
we don't have anything to. We don't have.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Query,
so we can just do it whenever you submit the submit button. Yeah. So we could do something like
because that's where you'll get the error message in response.
Should be able to do that.
So yeah, just console log where you did the mutation. Console log that response or the result real quick, because if the response, we're gonna want to query.
The data comes back.
We're querying the error messages in response, right? Yeah, it's result.data. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But you can just console log it and see. And then yeah, if result.data errors or whatever, it's gonna be it's not data.success message, it's data.submit contact form CF dot. Yeah, the data comes back in the same shape that we submitted, right?
Let me go look at it again. So I can tell that over here whenever we submit it. It comes out data.
Yeah, go back in your history. This is not our mutation.
That's mutation, yeah.
You can there's the history tab in GraphQL. You can go up there.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the same shape. So it'll be data dot submit contact form CF dot name, email, phone, errors, success message.
Cool. So it should be that dot success message.
And then you probably want before that though too, if result.data dot errors, like if there are errors. dot length or whatever it is, and because that's where we'll like show some error message. Data dot submit contact form CF. That'll be like our invalid email.
I'll just do it.
So we have it's submit contact form errors. Yeah.
And that part is like hard to remember.
Yeah, it's because you could have multiple mutations, right? Like you could have so.
Cool. So that looks right, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So console log that result though, just so we could see. I just want to make sure we're doing that. And let's double check. So we should, go check this out.
Oh, so will this send the data back through here? That's interesting. That'll be the return from this mutation?
I think so. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I've done mutations in Apollo.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's see. Let's go. My form is doing weird things though, so I'm going to have to figure that out at some point. If I run this, I should get an error. That is cool. So something happened, but I'm not getting anything. Object, data. So there's okay, so it came back. I got the invalid email address.
Okay, cool.
But it's in what? Data dot submit contact form
dot errors, right?
Dot errors, but that's what I did. Result dot.
You have just dot errors. Yeah.
Man, that's gonna get me every time. All right. Oh, it's data? Wait, no. That's right. Submit contact form CF. Errors. Result data. Submit contact form CF. Errors. Oh, I'm also doing this. I don't want to do. There we go. Invalid
Sweet.
email. We did it. Now let's try to
save now let's give it a valid email. Test contact test at test.com. Submit. Woo! Thanks for contacting us. Boom.
Something happened.
Now go.
Cool. We did it.
Now go back to
Let's go to our original query here.
Yeah, you can go back to the query it. Boom, we got our test. You can go look at it in the UI, the normal WordPress UI, and see it.
There it is.
So we did a real life web application. So we did talk a little bit about validation. Since we're talking about it, we don't have to necessarily show this, but like a common, obviously, anytime you have a form on a website, you open yourself up to potential spam.
Right.
So there's different techniques. Like we're not going to implement them in this, but just bringing it up so people can research it. Like one thing you could do is register like an extra input field to the mutation that is intentionally not to be submitted.
Right.
Right. We call it like a honeypot field. Mm-hmm. And then you could add that to your front end form. And so you'd have it in your mutation, you'd have it in your front end form. And then on the server side, if that is ever filled out, you can ignore processing the form because you know it's a bot, right? Or you can assume it's a bot or a bad actor of some sort, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one approach. You probably want to add reCAPTCHA to your form on the front end, maybe.
Right.
Or even on the back end, you can even hook up like in our mutate and get payload, you can even hook up like the Akismet API that'll like do spam detection for you too. Right.
Like looking at the content.
So, Yeah, so there's like all sorts of stuff to think about. Like we validated an email address very basically,
Right.
but
Yeah,
you
that's
probably want to. You could also check to see duplicate entries. Like, did somebody just click submit, 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 submit,
right.
submit?
I
Like,
did put that in there though. That was cool. So I added where the loading thing to the button. I don't know if you noticed, but if you submit it, it's disabled until it's done,
nice.
which is cool.
So if somebody just like came here and manually clicked it though, like
Yeah, I need to.
your server, it would be nice for the server to be like, hey,
Hey, yeah,
you just submitted this exact same information 2 minutes ago. Like, please wait another 5 minutes before you submit the same info, please.
right.
Or
Yeah,
whatever. So like you can do that on the client, but like the server should ultimately have that because if you do it in here, I could go open another tab and spam you, right? Oh, you're just clearing the form state. Yeah, that's good.
yeah. That way you can't do it twice,
Yeah.
or like not on accident, even because it is pretty quick. What was my
Yeah.
other one? Phone, email.
Yeah. So this is just for folks watching. This is just clearing the form values
Right. So
after submission.
now if I submit it,
Oh, maybe not.
it didn't do it. Maybe okay.
Psych.
Cool. Oh, I don't have them actually set up.
Oh. Oh. Interesting.
Yeah. React does not make this part easy. Not my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's too much for me to do. Just
Yeah, I agree. That's a lot of the form libraries like take it away, so it
how
doesn't
it's
feel like
working.
it's as much. But yeah. What's your errors? Is that in your console? Is that
I
something
think it
else?
was just like I was in between states.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
There we go.
submit, clear the form.
Yep.
Boom. Sweet.
Cool.
So yeah, there we go. Yeah, so not too bad.
Yeah, that was cool. So that's it would be nice to have a plugin that like built that where I didn't need to write a plugin, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's plenty of room for this stuff to exist, right?
Yeah, like this would be cool if I could have a way just where I could check like have a list of all my custom post types and I just say like enable anonymous submissions or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a little more complicated than that because it's like what you kind of got to have control over, like what fields you want to allow to be submitted.
Yeah, I guess you could you click on
But
the
yeah,
type and then show the fields and then just checkbox the ones you want to work and then it could build all this out for you.
yeah,
Potentially.
and then yeah, I think there's plenty of room. I know there's folks experimenting with like GraphQL form submission plugins already. Like there is a WP GraphQL for Gravity Forms plugin being worked on pretty actively right now. And so Gravity Forms, if you're not familiar with it, is
Right.
it's a form plugin for WordPress. It allows you to drag and drop
Yeah, I
to
was going to do
build
that
forms.
next. So I wanted
And
to
so
do
there
it
is
this way and then try that.
there's that plugin being worked on. And at least the future I envision for that would be like when that gets to a stable state or whatever, there would be like a React and or Vue like component counterpart that goes
Right.
with it,
Do the
where basically you
introspection on the
just like drop in
schema.
like gravity form component with an ID of a field, and then it just magically does everything else for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? It queries all the fields that make up the form, and then it ties it to React and handles the state management, handles submission, handles error messages. So all you would end up having to do is know the ID
Yeah, and you would do
of.
that through introspection, right? So if you come in here,
Yeah, you would. Yeah,
you can
exactly. You
see
could,
it.
if you had that installed, you'd be able to query like gravity form, gravity form forms or whatever they call it,
Right.
get an ID. And if you have the ID, then you could, in my head, you'd just be able to drop in a component into your app that's like gravity form and then pass an ID as a prop, and boom, you just have a
Right.
form in your app.
How in here would I do introspection on a type?
Yeah, I'm a type, so you could do the curly braces like you're gonna query, and then underscore type, and then parentheses and name as an argument. So if you know the name of a type, you can
string
in quotes, yeah. So if you know the name of a type,
mm-hmm.
so it's got to be the name of the type. So the type is going to be capital, so like contact or whatever your type name is.
And what's in
and
here?
then yeah, you have to ask for something like the name, the fields, whatever you want.
And then this has stuff.
And then those are name and kind, like what kind of scalar it is or whatever. Or type. Yeah, name, description, type.
Cool. And this is that gets deep.
It's very, very descriptive.
So that's cool. So I could schema. Build this on the front end though, this way though. I could go query this and then build the form out so that if I added a new field, it just worked.
Kind of. Your queryable type doesn't necessarily match your mutatable type though.
Yeah, that's a good point. But if you made them match, you'd be close.
Yeah, or on the flip side, you could query the submission type. So instead of type name contact, you could do type name submit. What was it? Submit contact whatever form. Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. So now it's gonna be input fields, I think, instead of fields. No, that's right there. But instead of on line 4, we're asking for fields. I think you want to query input fields or something like that. I think it's a different. We're asking for something else. Input fields. So this is what you would want to do. You would any mutation, you can ask for the input fields.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there they are.
And then watch, ask for the type.
Right.
And so when we get to the point where we have like custom scalar support, like right now it's going to say, why is it those two are not?
These two are null. Oh, because they're not null.
Yeah. So that might be expressed in the schema differently. Possible types, maybe, or I don't know. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, they're non-null.
I feel like it should still. What there might be a different way that's expressed in here. Or maybe I have a bug also.
Maybe
I don't think so.
Found a bug. No, it's not there. Yeah, that's interesting.
I'll have to look into that. That could possibly be a bug. I don't think so though. I don't think this. Anyway, well, let's not get caught up in that. But so you could do a query like this, and yeah, if you just know the name of the submission, you could have it fetch all this stuff on the client side, and then you could detect the name, the type of the input, like string or email or phone number, and then tie that to a component library that gives you client side validation as well. Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
And like when we get to the point where we have custom scalars like email, dates, and things like that, like you can map those field types to like date pickers and color pickers and all these like rich input types. So that's in the roadmap for wpgraphql's custom scalars. It's going to be being worked on in the coming months. So that will add like a lot of value to stuff like this. Form submissions, I think, will be impacted quite a bit by that.
Cool. Yeah, no, this is awesome. It's cool to see like where we're at and just how much farther there is to go though too. It's a lot of opportunity for people to jump in and like contribute. So
let me show you just like one like totally random thing real quick, but just to show how cool GraphQL is also. In regards to this. So if you go back to where you register the mutation in code, I just want to show you like something that I think just blows my mind. Like I wouldn't actually recommend doing this, but on output fields, like let's add another output field and just call it query, and then give it for the type. For type, give it root query.
Is that like that?
With a capital R.
All right.
Yeah, and then yeah, just do that real quick, and that's it. So save this real quick.
All right.
And then and then refresh the schema real quick, and then go in your refresh. You probably got to do a refresh on the page, and then go in your history to the mutation that we had.
You want me to run it?
You can, but what's even cooler though is type there, go to query now, and now the entire graph is at your fingertips. So in response to the mutation, you can query.
So I can say, hey, I want anything to come back. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you say when somebody submits this form, I want a list of posts. I want a list of contacts. I want a list of categories. Like whatever in the graph.
Right.
Like without one field, you just just do like post nodes title email or something like that. Or contacts, like the contacts. This would actually be cool. Like you could submit the form and then in response, you can get a list of all the contacts that exist now. So you can do nodes and then, name, email, phone number or whatever. But it's like such a powerful, like you just literally just wrote one line of code.
Right.
And you opened up all of this. Oh, something didn't work? Shoot.
Something didn't. It gave me no. It might be because it's in draft.
Oh no, I know what you need to do. You need to give it a resolve function. I'll tell you. Yeah, sorry. Super easy though. In your code where we registered it, give it query. So we give it the type root query. Go down under type root query. Give it comma on line 46.
Okay, yeah.
You could either do it, so just say resolve and then in single quotes whatever, and then fat arrow, and then this is gonna be a function, and then just say return true. This basically just gonna say if somebody asks for this field, move on to the next level. That's all it's saying.
All right.
So
that's all you got to do here.
Yep. And now it'll do it again, and it should work, I believe. Yeah. Okay.
It worked. I think.
Because you're not asking for draft.
Yeah, we're not in the draft mode, so.
I was like, wait, something else.
We will make this work.
Doesn't this? I mean, this blows my mind, and I've been doing this stuff for years, and I'm still amazed at
Yeah.
What? Cool. Like what?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just like holy shnikes, man! Like I need to dress up like Chris Farley.
Oh yeah, where's Jam's that mullet?
Holy shnikes! Did you eat paint chips when you were a kid?
This is cool.
Yeah, can you imagine what that would take you to do in a REST endpoint? Right. How much code you would have to write to enable,
and you'd have to come up with a way to query it.
Yeah,
either you have a post where you come up with some random way to get it, or you come up with some hack in the REST API. Like the REST API for WordPress, you can pull back whatever fields you want, but you got to put it all in a query string, and
it stops at one resource.
Right.
Like you can't
nest it.
You can't submit a form and then in response query a list of posts and tags and categories, and because that's the thing with mutations, right? And not just GraphQL, but any system, right? When you change something in the application, there might be side effects that change other things, and you might need to know about those things in response, right?
Right.
Like when you submit a post, it might change the count of the post that the author has. It changes the count of the post that the tags and categories have. So it's not just changing one thing; it's changing many different things. And so with GraphQL, you can mutate something, but then in response, you can ask for all the effects of other things too.
Right.
Right. Yeah, whatever's important to your application.
I think you brought up changing captions on an image. That could be one.
Yeah.
Like you update a caption and you want to pull back all the posts to update it. That'd be cool.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, like what you just did in two lines of code or whatever, just by saying, hey, in response, I want to be able to query anything. Like, oh man, that's amazing. That's so cool.
And this will happen after the mutation, right?
Yeah, exactly. So mutations all process synchronously. So you get the mutation, and we return the payload, the payload that we return.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing we could have done. Let me show an alternative way real quick. Go back to our code. So instead of the resolve function that we just added,
Mm-hmm.
take the function, the whole function return true, like cut that, and then delete the resolve here. And then go down to the payload that we return. So under success message, add a field called query, and then do that here. So this is another place we could have done it.
Oh, okay.
So then the effect will be the same.
Oh, so you
just
can
saying,
return like, more than what you. So will this always?
It's just saying like
then?
if we pass validation and then we submit the form,
right?
Then allow the user to query other stuff.
Gotcha.
So it'll have the same effect.
So it's the same thing, like
it does the same thing. It's just the
cool.
Like you mentioned because you asked like, oh, will this happen after the form submission? Now it'll guarantee it does. Like
right.
if you pass an invalid email address again, if you get an invalid email address, the query will be null. Yeah.
Gotcha. Because it never.
So if you would leave, go undo the change we just did in the code where the resolve function default was true above, like yeah, if you add the resolve function true here, then even in a failed submission, the user would still be able to query. And so yeah, which depending on your intent, like you may want to allow them to query even on an unsuccessful submission,
right? Or
you may want to limit it to successful submissions. So it's kind of like you have options, right? Like however you want, like whatever meets your needs.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's cool.
So yeah, you can say like, oh, for failed submissions, like don't like only return errors and nothing else.
Right.
Or return errors, but also let them ask for other stuff if it's important to them.
Right. That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of control. Super cool, man.
Yeah.
This stuff excites me,
dude. It's cool. So many people are using this now too. So
yeah.
I know you've been posting a lot about all the different companies using wpgraphql in production, and that's gotta be pretty neat to see that happening.
Yeah. Sweet. Any other questions? Like, is there anything you were hoping to get to that we didn't handle?
No, I think that's it. Like, I think this is a really like clean way to do a simple form submission. Now, obviously, if you want more, you're gonna want to use like Gravity Forms or something. But
yeah,
if you're just collecting contact forms on a blog site or something, or like for a newsletter, like, this seems like a good way to go. You could even
absolutely
kick stuff off here to like put it into MailChimp or whatever your email provider is. And
yeah, exactly. It's super cool. If anybody watches this and like builds something with it, make sure you tweet us and you know share what you're building. Because it'd be fun to see like what people come up with,
right?
That maybe we haven't thought of ourselves.
I want somebody to write that plugin.
So
so I don't have to do all this. Like if it just worked, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So in my head, like that introspection query we were writing to get like all the like form fields for mutation. Right. In my head, there'd be like a React component or like a React hook or whatever, where you could use like, like a use submission hook or use contact form hook or whatever. And you just pass a mutation or like, what was it? I don't know the pattern, like the higher order component pattern where it's like with contact form or something like that. And you just pass it your mutation. And then it introspects the mutation for you, maps it to a field library for you, handles submission state for you. And then like all you have to do is say like, with contact form
Right.
or something like that, or with form.
You get a form. It's and then the submission works. Everything. Yeah. It wouldn't
Or
be that
actually,
bad to
honestly,
do.
there might even be. I would not be surprised if somebody's built. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's built something like that already. Because if I can like semi-plan it in my head,
It definitely needs to exist.
and I'm not even like I wouldn't consider myself a JavaScript developer. So a JavaScript developer probably React Apollo form. Google that real quick. I don't know if this is. It might be what we're talking about actually.
Let's see.
It looks kind of similar. You pass. Is this the same one? No, I think this is a different one than I was looking at. It's React Apollo form singular by Witty Developer. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So you pass it. It looks like you pass your mutation to it, and then it looks like it introspects it. And
oh yeah, that's cool.
And tries to build a form. So yeah, I mean, we're not the only ones thinking about this.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me, right? So
and then the next thing,
you could go add a field in the back end, and it just shows up in your form. Should be sick.
Yeah. So, and then the next thing you got to do, like, I think the custom scalars will go a long way, because right now, like, obviously, GraphQL out of the box only supports some basic scalars like string, like that checkbox, the completed one in the screenshot. That's probably a Boolean, right?
Right.
Like a true false. But then you get more complicated from there, right? Like you could have complex types like field groups,
right?
And then you get like repeatable fields, and like it can get complex fairly quick, and that's where like custom scalars will come in. But if it like the proof of concept is there,
right?
So if we have a way to make it like pluggable on the JavaScript side, where you can say like provide form components for custom scalars like color pickers and date pickers and things like that.
Right.
Then as like wpgraphql evolves to support those things, then we can have something like that on the client side support those things as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like this stuff is like there's so much potential for it, and like we're at the very beginning of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that one was pretty old, so there's even room there on the React side, which is surprising to go build something like that, which seems like it would be pretty useful in a lot of scenarios.
Yeah.
Just pass in a mutation and then it just figures it out. I mean, that'd be cool. Sounds
super
like a
cool
side project for somebody.
I want people to be tweeting us and whatever, sharing what they built after they watch this video.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see.
I'm excited to see it.
It won't let me show my face to you, so this is what you get.
It's all good.
YouTube has it. YouTube has my face.
Nice.
But yeah, no, this is cool. Yeah, hopefully people see this and have some ideas. Definitely tweet us. Go to the WP GraphQL Slack. Jump in there. If you go to wpgraphql.com, you can join the community, join the Slack. We also have a Headless WordPress Slack, so headlesswordpress.slack.com. We're going to add it to the developer site where you can come in, jump in, ask questions, and kind of think about some of these things. Cool. Anything you want to add before you drop and I do a Gravity Forms demo?
No, I don't know. Are you doing Gravity Forms?
Yeah, I wanted to do that because that's how I want to do it, the way that we did it, because I like having that control. But now I want to go just play with Gravity Forms for the rest of the time and see if I can make it work.
Nice. Yeah, I know. I know. Like they're doing a lot of work on that plugin.
Yeah, and there's there's a WP GraphQL extension for it, so I'm going to try it out and see if I can make it work.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, man. Sweet. Have fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining up.
Yep. See y'all.
All right. Later. All right. That was cool. I wrote some PHP. You can tell I'm not very good at that, but hey, I'm learning some PHP. Let's see if we can make gravity forms work. Let's see. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. And find my, there we go. I have it open here. So this is Gravity Forms. This is like a pretty popular form plugin for WordPress. So you can like create your forms, then drop them into a page wherever you want. And then there's somebody who's created this Gravity Forms wpgraphql extension. So I want to try it because I've had some people ask me how to do this. So I haven't played with it yet. So let's see what happens. Let's see what it tells me to do. Install GraphQL. Got that. Install Gravity Forms. Oh, I gotta buy it? Hopefully not. If I gotta buy it, that's gonna be a problem. That's not gonna happen. Hopefully there's some kind of demo I can get. Let's see. Boom, boom. Gravity Forms. I guess you have to buy it. Does anybody know? Anybody know if this is like a paid plugin? Oh, you guys don't like PHP? Me either. It's not good. Syntax is so weird. Yeah, JavaScript hits me in the right places, you know. Well, I don't see Gravity Forms as a free thing. That's unfortunate. I don't have a license, and I'm not buying it for this. Man, no free version or anything. That's hardcore. Test drive the demo? Nah. All right, well, we won't do that one. I'll get a license. We probably have one at WP Engine, so. You want my credit card? Okay. Well, anything else anybody wants to see, play around with? I thought that was pretty cool. That's what I've been wanting to do for our site, on the developer site. Our site is here. Developers.wpengine.com. Look how fast that was. Oh, we didn't deploy this. Let's deploy it. That'll be cool. Let's deploy this. That's actually kind of cool. Let's create a new site and deploy it on Atlas. So I'm just gonna use one that I've already got. So I'll use this demo I had. I'll get this up to where we're at on the other one. I need the framework. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Need that one. I need this one. This one. This. All right, we'll do custom PostType UI. Oh wait, I need to install that first actually. ACF. Then I need yeah, this one. Whoops. Install all of these. All right, custom post. So Atlas is like where we can host our WordPress and our node site. So I have this running out on WP Engine. So I'm gonna get it set up just like we have our local one running. wpgraphql, advanced custom fields, blah 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 blah. Wait, where's our headless one? Is it on here? That was this one. All right, cool. Boom. Is this right? We don't know what this is yet, so we'll just leave that. All right, so we want to not do that. This one. Let's make this a little prettier though. Let's see. Inline styles. That's how it's done. No, probably not. Let's actually create something here. We'll do, let's see. Give our form a max width and then our inputs. Play block. Label. Play block. That should work, right? Right? Maybe. Anybody? Was oh wow, what did I do? Import start as styles. How do you do this? Somebody tell me. Luke, you know, how do I import this module? Import star as styles. Isn't that right? That's not right. Come on. Oh, from. Wow. Live coding, it's hard. All right, let's see. No, that's not right. What? What am I doing wrong? I feel like there's a delay here. I have to import it something. I forget. I never do modules. Built-in CSS support. Here we go. Adding component level CSS. Import styles from. Okay, I don't have to do the star. That's what it is. All right. There we go. Okay. Now, what does it look like? Cool. Module not found. I don't think I can do this, actually. There we go. Ah, look. Pretty. But not where I want it, actually. There's another main content single. Oh, wrap. That's what I want. Div.wrap. We'll put that down here. Boom. And then we want like a contact us. Wow. Beautiful. React. Sometimes it works. How do I get this cool button though? What style is that? Class button. That was complicating. Boom. Beautiful. But it looks kind of odd. Not gonna lie. Man, I really like having my bootstrap utility classes right now. But I'm gonna just do that. Cool. Oh, all right. Let's ship it. All right, so we're good. I like this. It's great. Now let's deploy it. So I'm gonna go to GitHub, create a new repo, contact, let's see, headless forms. Let's call it that. Make it public. You guys can go trash it. Headless forms. Headless forms. Got it. All right. Let's see. Now, I want to push it. Get remote. Add origin. Get push minus u origin main. We have this code up here. All right, cool. Now we need to deploy this. So what we'll do is go here. So I'm in my user portal. And we're going to deploy our app to Atlas. So I'm going to create a new app. Call it Headless Forms Production, because this is like ready to ship basically, right? We want to connect that to that decode 2021, do US Central. And then the repo is Matt-Landers Headless Forms branch main. Gotta make sure I've authenticated this. So I'm gonna add headless forms. Cool. All right, so we're good there. Now I need to add my environment variables, which is gonna be headless secret. And then that's gonna come from WordPress right here. Cool. and then add another one, which is going to be that next public blah blah blah. What is it? And then I want that to point to my site here. I know where to go get GraphQL and all that fun stuff. All right, I think that's it. This is so cool that we did this. Atlas is awesome. But now I just say create app, goes out, make sure I'm authenticated, pulls down our code, and it starts building it. So now it's right here. It's building it, so it's going out to GitHub, pulling down the code, running npm install, and then running npm run wpe-build, which is right here. So it runs the next build. This is just a opportunity in our build pipeline to be able to do whatever, generate your static sites or whatnot, or static pages, or whatever you need to do here. You can put anything. And then whenever we run it, we run npm start, and it needs to start on port 8080. So this was already started up, set up because I used the template that we already have. There is an Atlas CLI, so I can do like a WPE alpha. So now I'm getting that app that we just created, and I can see that it's building. Once it's built, I'll get a URL right here. So the first time it builds, it takes a minute because it's got to pull down all those node modules, which, you know, node modules they're heavy. But once it does that, it can do some diffing, and it's a little faster. So this will take a few minutes. Yeah, you can do everything from the command line too. So I can see my build logs. Or I have like my builds, my environments, my logs. So I have my build logs, which would be under builds. So if I had a failure during this build, I can go pull my logs, see what happened. I can also go to my runtime logs. So if I want to console log stuff out, so my app's running, but it's crashing when something happens, and I want to console log something out because I can't reproduce it locally. That's where you get your logs. So these are like runtime logs as you're running, which is cool. And all of that is in Portal as well, which is neat. So once this finishes, you'll be able to see the build logs. And eventually we'll be able to tail the logs and watch it happen and all that. So hopefully this live stream was cool. Our first one on the Covalence channel. Thanks, Covalence. Letting us use your YouTube until we're ready. But I want to do more of these. I think this is good. Bringing in Jason was fun. Oh, Fran and Luke in chat. All right, let's see. Are we good yet? It's coming. Oh, we need to set up that contact form while I'm just sitting here doing nothing. I could go out here, create our custom post type, because I'm gonna have to have this match everything. So it's gonna be contacts. Showing GraphQL, and it's contacts. Boom. And then I need my fields, which are here. Oh, I think I called this contact fields. And then I had name, text, showing GraphQL, yes. Email, yes. phone number. All right, cool. And this was GraphQL. All right, I think that's how we had that set up. Let's go here. See if our submission works. Oh man, I don't remember what this looked like. Where were we? Different browser. There we go. I don't need this query one. Oh, it doesn't like this. Why not? And a query field. I must not have installed that other plugin. Let me see. Oh yeah, I didn't install the contact form plugin, that beautiful plugin we worked on this whole time. There it is. Boom. Now is it there? Bam. Invalid email. Okay, cool. All right. It's working. Now let's see if we're live. There it is. We are live. Maybe. There it is. It's working. There's our site. Matt. Whatever. Bam. And then here we are. We refresh. There it is. That's pretty cool. That was fast. Where are our fields though? Oh shoot, I know what we did. I forgot on the custom fields to make this on contact update. There they are. Ta-da! We have a contact form. I'm gonna have to add that to the developer site now, so that's cool. Fun. Anything you guys want to see? Can't do gravity forms. I really wanted to, but I'm not paying $60 for this demo. Or any questions about what we did? That would be good too. We did a lot. We wrote PHP. Really didn't do a lot, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm glad Jason came in to help. This is really all we did to make that work. A little plugin that we wrote. It is kind of cool in WordPress how easy it is to make a plugin. Like this is a plugin. That's it. And it actually does something neat. Like it was functional. It does something useful. I like it. It's neat. Oh, you want me to play League now? There you go. Now we're talking. Maybe I'll jump on over to Twitch and play some League. Oh, all right. Yeah, the PHP is weird. I will say prefer JavaScript. Prefer JavaScript for sure, or TypeScript, not JavaScript, but definitely TypeScript. But this wasn't that bad. Like if you got to get in here and do some things to get the functionality you want, definitely worth it. But there definitely should be a plugin that just does this for you, so I don't have to write all this, which shouldn't be that bad. I don't think it'd be that bad to write. Somebody needs to do it. Yeah. I like JavaScript. Just watching the chat here. But that was cool. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Since I can't do the Gravity forms, maybe I'll find a license. Maybe Gravity forms will like hit me up with a license so I can show how that works. So, but that was pretty easy. Just use custom post types, advanced custom fields, write a little, write this. I need to put this in the, I'm going to put this in the repo so people can see it as well. Let me go grab that. See, it's over here. I'll just create a like plugins folder. And I'll save this here. So if you want to do this, you can now do it. Use that code, modify it however you want, make it happen. And I'll have to do a blog post on this too on the developer site. Fran says, I was trying to set a WooCommerce connection with their API. Is it like, how does that look like? I don't know what that means, but it probably is. I'm going to do a ecom live coding next time. Because I got a couple of people that asked me for that too. So I want to do a site where we pull in products from Shopify and we pull the blog and any content from WordPress and then deploy that out that list and everything. So I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe we'll do that next Friday, or I don't know how often I'm going to do these, but they're pretty fun and we got pretty good response out of people. We'll see if more people can show up over time. I think we will. All right, that is out there. Check out the code, ask any questions, shoot me stuff on Twitter. My Twitter is Matt_Landers. I need followers. Right here, I post all kinds of tech, dev, nerdy stuff. And then also our Twitter for the team is WEPED code, where we post everything that we're doing. All of our blog posts, videos that we're doing. Check it out, follow it for Headless WordPress stuff. And then our YouTube channel, when we're not hijacking Covalences, is at out here. So we're adding new videos all the time. Check them out. The Getting Started with Headless is a good one for how our framework works. Kind of go into that, dive from the beginning. Previews as well, GraphQL. Will is working on a Vue version of some stuff. I'm working on the custom post types and how we did that stuff with custom post types in ACF. I'll do a video on that as well. There's one on the Gatsby conference site if you want to just see something that's already working. Yeah, check it out. All right, I'm going to sign off. I got to get ready for my kid's birthday party tomorrow. And we'll be on again.